Hi, I'm Alex Paulton. I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Talking Timepieces, where we talk about watch collecting and horology. Today, we're going to take a look at the Cartier 100 XL Chronograph, the Santos, a really big and bold yet classy chronograph, sports luxury chronograph. A really sharp-looking watch, and let's turn the camera around and take a closer look at it. Before I do, please remember to subscribe or at least leave a like. It really helps the channel. So let's take a closer look at this beautiful beast. Here's the Cartier Santos 100 XL Chronograph, number 2740. It is a very big and bold piece, but it's also a very classic piece, which is not normally what you think of when you think of a big and bold piece. That was more of a recent thing in watches. But then again, back in its day, the Santos was considered a bold piece, even though it was relatively small. The original Santos was a three-hander that Cartier made for Santos Dumont, the aviation pioneer. And, well, in fact, it's the first mainstream wristwatch, men's wristwatch made. Prior to that, women wore wristwatches. They called them wristlets, and they were considered very effeminate. It wasn't until World War I, pretty much killed the pocket watch, because you can't fight a war with a pocket watch, fly a plane, drive a tank, fire a rifle, etc. So the Santos was the first of a generation of watches, wristwatches, and that's one of the reasons, for example, that Rolex is in the position they're in, because Hans Wilsdorf called the market for wristwatches when he founded Rolex in 1905 in London. But the Santos is a really, really beautiful piece in its base configuration, and as a chronograph, it really does shine. There's a lot of beautiful detail in the face. The Cartier, of course, traditionally in the 7. The subdials are they have their own interesting pattern of counters to relate to their function. It's just a beautiful, sharp, classy piece. A little big for some people, a little big for most people. It's a 41 by 55 piece, and it's 14.7 in thickness, which you think is thick, and it's a very slab-sided watch, so it looks thick, but it's actually thinner than the two other pieces I have with the same base movement. The Tissot is 14.8, I believe it is, or 14.9, so it's a little bit over, and this is a lot over. This is 15.4, this Oris diver, but then again, this is a diver, 200 meters resistant. This one's 100 meter resistant, although I do need to replace the gasket in it. Actually, it doesn't have a gasket currently because the gasket was damaged. I have to order one, but if the gasket was in it, it would be 100 meters water resistant, and this is a really good example of 3 pieces, same base movement, much different presentations. We'll probably do an episode on that. But back to the Cartier, the Santos 100 XL Chronograph. It weighs 176.5 grams, including the band. And it's a leather band with a really sharp, good-looking, interesting, well-made, double deployant clasp. Very nice presentation, and it's similar to some of the older Breitlings in that there are no holes in the strap, so it's theoretically infinitely adjustable. So very sharp piece in that sense as well. It also looks really good on Milanese or even on a NATO strap. I've had them on both. The Milanese, it looks a little bit more, in one sense, sportier, and of course on the NATO it looks very sporty. The movement inside is, they call it the 8630, the Cartier 8630 movement. And it's actually, they do take the movement out and rework it and take it apart and, increase the finishing. As you can see, it's really well finished. But as you see, it is running very well. And I bought this watch used and haven't had it serviced. So for a used watch off the shelf, it is running very, very well. For an old watch, this one came out about a decade ago. For a watch that's been in multiple hands and has been worked on. I know for a fact that this watch was damaged and taken to a watchmaker to repair, and now I've got to replace the gasket. But it's a rugged, reliable chrono for all of that effort. So let's turn the camera around and close out the episode. That was the Cartier XL 100 Santos chronograph. Like I said, a really sharp, good quality, surprisingly rugged, yet interestingly delicate, because it's a rugged watch, but I wouldn't want to scratch it. I have scratched it in the past, and it's not a fun experience. So, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you liked the content, and until next time.